Support is essential in healthy relationships because no matter how turbulent shared lives can be, your partner is always there to offer a steady hand. Haven weaves that affection into a beautiful science fiction RPG about the misadventures of two star-crossed lovers. Whether you're catching ethereal waves, blitzing alien critters, or just zesting up meals, witnessing its protagonist's adorable relationship bleed into every activity across the roughly 15-hour campaign is an utter joy. But maintaining a healthy relationship means putting up with faults, and in Haven's case, that means turning a blind eye to long stretches of mandatory, monotonous resource gathering across barren landscapes. Haven sets itself apart from many other spacefaring tales by opening on what feels like the second act of a story. You and her boyfriend Kay have been gallivanting about celestial bodies searching for a new home, eventually settling on Source, the stunning watercolor pastel planet where Haven takes place. You'll play as the couple, exploring this strange, semi-open world in search of food and materials. To get around, you and Kay make great use of their awesome anti-gravity boots, miracles of athletic wear meets airliner that let you glide across hayfields or soar into the high heavens. When they're juiced up, that is. This planet has peculiar energy tendrils called flow threads all over its surface, and they charge the boots to allow you to access hard-to-reach areas. Riding these threads is like surfing, matching the flow's trajectory is critical to avoid wiping out. It's a blast fishtailing on flow arcs, unsure of where a thread might take you, but still excited about what could potentially be at the destination. Too often, though, threads go nowhere because Haven cuts its world into small, desolately sparse zones with little to do in them. Foraging is the main activity you'll partake in, and that amounts to nothing besides tediously scanning the horizon for static resource nodes and scampering up to collect the yummy goods. What's slightly more involved, yet miraculously dull as dirt, is cleaning rust, which involves brainlessly flying over purple sludge and soaking up rust like a Roomba that's regretting whatever life choices led it to this moment. It gets old fast, especially since there's over 40 rust-drenched zones to comb through. You can't ignore these chores either, as both food and rust are crucial to progression. It eventually proves to be worthwhile because leveling up in Haven is entirely dependent on how well you and Kay jive, be it in the kitchen or workshop. For example, if Kay cooks one of you's favorite dishes, they'll both get experience points as a result of making each other happy. The give and take of this relationship is governed by you, and it's satisfying to see their love blossom from the fruits of your labor.
That wasn't a nightmare.
Sure it was. Rest easy.
If a more traditional means of garnering experience is to your liking, then there's plenty of rousing turn-based tussles with ravenous, rust-maddened beasties to be had. There are two types of offense at your disposal in Haven: flow projectiles and melee attacks. Enemies are always weak to one or the other, so you've got a 50% chance to luck into a powerful first strike. Delivering an axe kick as you, then having Kay follow up with a flow curveball never gets old due to the crunchiness factor. Better still, you can synergize them to unleash devastating combos, putting the recipient flat on their back. Then the time comes to perform a pacify skill, dousing your adversary in flow to relieve them of their rust-fueled rage rather than killing them. It's not the most in-depth combat system, but having you and Kay's harmony reflected even among chaotic brawls is endearing. That synergy carries over to Haven's creative co-op mode as well. When you're each controlling one character, decision-making and combat actions are split straight down the middle between yourself and, hopefully, someone special. Sharing laughter over what dialogue options to choose or which fork in the road to take is so wholesome. Sure, the shared camera can get a bit wonky if one of you strolls left while the other insists on going right, but it's only an issue during exploration. Combat faces no such camera woes, thankfully, even though it's a smidge nerve-wracking relying on someone else for aid at first. But as you both start recognizing each other's quirks while playing, cohesion begins to set in like a hilarious team-building exercise. It's somewhat meta that Haven, which is about two characters growing closer, does precisely that in co-op with your real-life company. What sets Haven apart from so many other games about romance is it's not about the pursuit of love. By the time we meet you and Kay, they're already together, and without getting into spoilers, they've gone to hell and back for the life they now share. It's relatable stuff. Kay roasts himself to make you giggle, whereas you coaxes out whatever might be bothering Kay a moment later. They fight, too. Every couple fights, after all. But even then, the two of them grow from it, because despite how overpowering these feelings can be, if both parties work for it, love always prevails. With an unusual approach to role-playing games that focuses on the relationship of its protagonist couple as not just the story, but also its mechanics, Haven stands out from most other sci-fi adventures. Were it not for its soul-crushingly tedious rust cleaning and hillside foraging taking up so much of the campaign's runtime, Haven might have cemented itself as an all-time great RPG. However, the thrilling flow rides, harmonious combat, and startlingly human relationship between Haven's leads prove that love conquers all. For more on Haven, check out 10 minutes of gameplay on Xbox Series X, and for other RPGs that involve all sorts of relationships, check out our reviews of Yakuza Like a Dragon and Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access, and for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.